Hey, what up, Long Beach? Welcome back to your home for everything local sports. It's JJ.
And Mike, and this weekly football preview podcast is brought to you by Naples Rib Company. Visit GazetteSports.com and click on their ad to find out how you could win a free banquet.
If we sound a little bit more serious this week, it's for good reason. It's a league game, Smokey.
Very serious.
Everybody is officially in league right now, and we are getting it going with our game of the week. Oh boy, Trinity League is here. It's St. John Bosco and Servite.
Always excited when the SEC of Southern California sports gets going. Obviously, the Trinity League, the top high school football league in America.
Without question.
And we've got, I think the best game of the week, to me, with the Braves and the Friars. Two teams obviously have a lot going for them. Bosco is certainly coming in on top, but they're both going to be pretty comfortable in the facility since they're both using Cerritos College as their home field at different times this season.
Bosco obviously waiting for their home to be constructed. But yeah, they will be comfortable over there at Cerritos College, 7 o'clock on Friday. Bosco right now number 3 in CIF Southern Section Division 1. Servite was a top 10 team, but's gotten bumped out. However, they did give De La Salle quite a run for their money and were a few plays away from winning that game, ended up losing by just a point.
Well, that was probably the heartbreaker of all heartbreakers, and obviously we've known Servite head coach Scott Meyer for quite some time. He used to coach at Jordan before moving on to Corona Del Mar. His dad's a school board member here in the LBUSD. His grandpa's name is on the field. It's the name of the stadium at Wilson, so the Myers obviously a well-known local family. I think everyone who knew Scott was pretty heartbroken after that Servite De La Salle game because they scored to go up. Servite did, I believe, with less than 3 minutes in the game.
Yep.
De La Salle immediately comes back down, scores with I think like 13 seconds left on the clock, goes for 2,
and gets
it to win the game by a point. You know, just one of those total high school football heartbreaks.
Well, the Friars do rely heavily on quarterback Tyler Lytle. The senior's averaging over 230 yards per game and hasn't thrown an interception yet this year because Servite also has a good, steady stable of running backs that they like to feed the ball to. Lytle also can move, so kind of a similar type of quarterback over there at Servite as Bosco has in Real Mitchell. Now, no one is as fast and maybe as talented in the dual threat as Real Mitchell is, but Lytle is going to give the Bosco defense a good look.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you mentioned it. Real's the fastest high school junior in the country, so no one's as fast as he is, but Lytle certainly had himself a very good season, and he's come up big in their big games.
I'm going to take the Bosco defense, though, in this one. The Bosco offense is averaging over 450 yards per game, and the defense has only allowed 58 points. Now, I think the defense is going to have the edge because, think about this, 35 of those 58 points came against Bishop Gorman. That's crazy good.
I think that's fair to say. They certainly would come into the game as a favorites. It's been 4 years since they lost a Trinity League game, and obviously everybody's already looking ahead to October 21st when it would be expected that an undefeated Bosco and an undefeated Mater Dei team would basically play for league championship.
So is this a trap game? That's the question everyone's asking.
I just don't think, to me, from the years that we've spent around that football team, I just don't think they really have trap games.
I don't think there's any such thing as a trap game in the Trinity.
Yeah, they're certainly not, and just from what we've seen in Bosco, I mean, they're always focused. They're always ready. You look at the St. Xavier game; they open up, they come out crisp. They just always come out sharp, and I would expect the same thing against Servite.
Speaking of leagues getting going, we've got the San Gabriel Valley League starting this week after pretty much the whole entire league took a bye last week, and it's going to be close yet again. Only one time since 2011 has this thing not been decided by a 3-way tie.
They got to get another team into that league. I think it's the only thing that we can say. It's a little almost annoying as a writer, isn't it? That like every year you come in and half of the league is a defending league champion. You just need, I feel like, one more team to break it up a little.
Well, what's kind of funny is that one more team might be playing in the marquee game for the SGVL this year because the teams like Dominguez, Downey, Warren, Paramount that have been in that mix for the top 3 spots are playing the other game.
Right.
The new teams could be Gar and Linwood. You've got a Gar Gladiators team that is 5-0 right now. Their best start since 2007. They are number 9 in Division 10. And then you've got a Linwood team that's number 8 in Division 9, and they're putting up big offensive numbers again. So Linwood at Gar is the game of the week for the SGVL. Tell that to somebody 5 weeks ago and listen to them laugh.
Right, yeah, for sure. I think these two teams obviously have come out and been very exciting. Gar being undefeated, and then Linwood not only having a good season so far, but they also have a top talent level kid in Wyland Free who's committed to USC, and I think everyone's excited for that game. First of all, I just would say this. While I do wish they'd add one more team, a la the Moore League, and so you wouldn't necessarily have these three-way ties, it is cool to me that they all take their bye the same week. Everyone, so you're not going out and skate. You take a week off, a genuine week off, and then they all start together. It's almost like the EPL or something, that the way it's coordinated. I just really think that's cool, and it's neat, like you said. I mean, you just have two teams you weren't expecting to be the showcase game on opening night.
The other games in the SGVL, Dominguez is at Downey and Warren at Paramount. Meanwhile, in Long Beach, Moore League season continuing. Long Beach Poly doing something at Veterans Memorial Stadium that they've done a few times before, Mike.
So this is Poly's 108th homecoming celebration, which is not even, the school was founded in 1895. The football team started in 1908 when they had a homecoming game. It's worth noting that was a full 50 years before Vets was built, which I think anyone who walks into Vets now, it feels sort of like ancient history. It looks like about as old a thing as you can imagine. And yeah, that is the Long Beach Poly homecoming, the oldest sports tradition in Long Beach, and I don't think we're going to see the 99-9 Poly Compton game that we saw 2 years ago at Vets. I think that Compton's a lot better, and I don't think Poly's as explosive offensively. But you just never know when you go see a game like that what's going to happen. I'm excited. Here's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Christian Swint, and I'm actually going out there in large part to do a feature on him because he did score a touchdown in that 99-9 loss, and he's been outstanding. I mean, the kid is one of the leaders in the CIF Southern section in yards per carry, and he had maybe one of the greatest Moore League individual offensive performances we've ever heard of against Milliken last week. He had over 330 yards rushing and 5 touchdowns, as well as an 85-yard kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah, an incredible game from Swint. This is the best season on the field that the Tar Babies have had since 2012. They got that first win on the field, like Mike just mentioned, since that year. Yeah, and Swint has been incredible. In the other Moore League games, we've got Wilson at Lakewood, which I think is going to be the best game of the week in the Moore League. I think Lakewood is just prime to give Wilson a run for their money, and the Bruins are coming off an impressive shutout victory at home, but I do love that front seven that Lakewood has, and that's where Wilson can get exposed, as Huntington Beach showed a few weeks back. Also on the docket, Jordan at Cabrillo. Now, we have some other leagues in action.
Wait, hold on. We have to call it the 7-10 rivalry, or Tyler's going to give us a phone call.
Fair enough. Okay. Suburban League action, Artesia at La Mirada. We've got Norwalk versus Mayfair at Bellflower High School. You already about it. And then Bellflower and Glen rounding that out. I also want to hit some of the other teams we've got starting league, like Los Alamitos at Marina, starting their Sunset League schedule. How about them Griffins? Under first-year head coach Ray Fenton, their only losses are to Division I schools Long Beach Poly and J. Sarah.
That's obviously, those are two losses you can live with if you're playing in the Sunset League and you're in a lower division as Los Alas this year. One other piece of Griffins news that just came out this week, but former coach John Barnes is going into the CIF Southern Section Hall of Fame. It was just announced about an hour, I think, before we started recording. So congrats to Barnes. Yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes. Marina, as you mentioned, they've had a much better start this year than they have, but St. Anthony really kind of got over on them a little bit last week, and you would certainly expect Los Al to be better than St. Anthony at this point in time. So it would look like it would go in the Griffins' favor.
Speaking of St. Anthony, the Saints are in action on Saturday at 5 p.m. at Cantwell Sacred Heart, trying to bounce back from that loss at Valley Christian, an entertaining one to say the least. Quarterback Johnny Buxa V had 5 touchdowns. Get it? Johnny 5 with 5 touchdowns last week. Boy, we had a lot of kids with some pretty impressive offensive numbers last week, but I think this week is when we're going to start to see the contenders and the pretenders separate themselves.
Well, I think that always happens in league for sure, and this week with the schedule we've got, I have to totally agree with you on that.
So follow us Friday on Twitter at PT Gazette Sports for all of your score updates, and then obviously GazetteSports.com and Press Telegram for all of your coverage, articles, highlight videos, and photo galleries.
Thanks as always to all of our sponsors, including Papalucci's, a great place to eat down on 2nd Street, and of course Naples Rib Company. Please make sure you go to GazetteSports.com and click on their ad, because you could enter your high school sports team to win a free banquet from Naples Rib Co.
We'll see you in the stands this weekend, Long Beach. Take care.